Hey everybody, welcome to Vegans Talking Shit. I'm Joey.
I'm John.
And Vanessa.
And we're having some technical difficulties. Oh, and there's Bob. We have a nice little cameo from Bob. We're having some technical difficulties, so John and Vanessa will be sharing the mic and the video space, but we're making it work. That's what we do here at Vegans Talking Shit. We make shit work. And today's a special episode. We have a guest, and we're having on Sergeant Vegan. He is pretty well known in vegans social media. He's written a couple of books, but I don't really want to get too much into what he's done because I want him to be able to talk about it himself. So without further ado, let's bring Sergeant Vegan to the stage. There he is. Hey, Sarge, how are you?
Hey, Sergeant.
How's it going, everyone? Just a technical question. On my screen, I'm showing up as a black square. That's okay, right?
We see you perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you guys are the ones recording and not my computer, which it's kind of like if you guys are a fan of Rob Reiner movies, Spinal Tap. It's
his early movies, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of my screen. What I can see looks like what they ended up coming up with for Smell the Glove, because yeah. So anyway, I'm hoping that I look presentable. I'm wearing an Earth Crisis shirt just in case you can't see me.
Well, you look very presentable. You are tuned up to an 11, sir. So
thank you. Oh, thank you for the reference.
So Sergeant Vegan, your real name is Bill Muir, and I'm fascinated by your story. I looked up your history, and I have a lot of questions. But before I get into all that, if you don't mind, can you just tell the world who you are and how you became vegan, especially considering how long ago you went vegan? I can't wrap my head around how difficult it must have been back then compared to now.
Sure. So I do have a well-curated bio, but I'm not going to read that mostly out of laziness because I could pull that up and it could be really hit all the points really easily. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to say, so my name's Bill Muir, aka Sergeant Vegan. Long and short of it, vegan 33 going on 34 years. Currently 52, went vegan in 1992, and it would be very boring if I said that's about it. But so I guess the main interesting thing is that I was also vegan in the military, and I did a combat deployment to Afghanistan as a vegan, which is a fairly unusual career trajectory for a vegan straight edge punk rock kid, but that's what I did.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. Yeah, first of all, thank you for your service. I have the utmost respect for members of the military, total badasses. I'm a complete coward compared to you guys.
Well, let's not put it like that, yeah.
But I just, back then, there was nothing. Was there even soy milk back then?
So when I went, I guess without going all the way back, first I could say one of the advantages of being vegan for that long is that when people complain about, like vegans been going through a rough patch since the 2024 election because our government's been kind of basically trying to cancel out any green initiative, stuff like that. And in my opinion, that's why companies have been like, oh, okay, we're coal is cool again and that kind of stuff. So I can look back to in the early 2000s when Silk came out and people were like, oh my God, this stuff is amazing. It tastes like chocolate milk and yet it is not milk, and that truly was amazing because in like 92 walking to the local like health food store, I don't remember soy milk. I know there was no Silk and I know there would have been no chocolate version of that. So if there was a soy milk, it would have been liquefied tofu. And when I was in Japan in the mid 90s, most of the soy milk was like that too. They started coming out with like different flavors of it. But it was basically like you take a block of tofu, you add a cup of water, now you have soy milk. Technically, they're right. It would have been soy milk, but it would have been a little yucky.
Yeah, back then, I mean, I don't honestly, I don't think I knew what a vegan was back then. I knew what vegetarian was. I don't think I had been introduced to the word vegan yet. So you are truly a pioneer, sir, especially doing it in the military when they're throwing MREs at you. I don't think they're called MREs anymore.
Oh, well, no, they're still called MREs. Or I like to call them Mr. E's because A, you often don't know what you get until you look at the package, and B, MRE, Mr. E.
Can you request vegan MREs?
So, this probably most of the people listening to this will already know because this was, I think Veg News put something out. One of the very weird positive things that are going to be happening during this administration is allegedly, and I say allegedly because until I see it and I'm eating it, I don't believe it. Allegedly, they're going to replace the vegetarian MREs that they have with plant-based vegan alternatives, which I was working with Mr. Mercy for Animals to do that for, I think they've been working on it for years. I know I was helping with some of their social media pushes to do that as a service member that was impacted by this. I think this is something that should have happened long ago, given the poor recruiting numbers, given the fact that some of the best and brightest are also vegan. So you're going to want young people who are vegan, who are idealists, probably who are not going to be, no shade, but probably not be joining the infantry, but would be medics like me, or they would, go in the Air Force or, do some kind of like thinking job, but are also vegan. They want to save the world. That's why they join the military. Don't exclude those people, invite them in. So, yeah.
Sergeant Vegan, I'm really curious what it was like to be a vegan in the military. I don't think we do know one person that was in the military, but I don't even know if he was vegan. He's a vegan. Well, actually, now he's not a vegan. And I don't think he was a vegan when he was in the military. Anyways, in the early 90s, it sounds like you were in the military.
No, so I guess the quick way to talk about my story would be, so there I was, 19 years old. I went vegan. I went vegan my freshman year of college, which now sounds like a very, like what you would expect a freshman in college to do kind of thing. But then that wasn't something that really wasn't even not to sound nerdy, but a word in our vernacular. So it's hard to do something when it's not in common usage, even in the, being kicked around, even a word that you would have to look it up in the dictionary back then, which I think I did look up vegan in the dictionary because there was no social media and no internets to peruse. I had to actually look it up. So I went vegan at 19. Not to give my full college experience away, but I was in school. Then I studied a semester. Well, I studied for a year in Japan, came back to the States. So I was like, what am I going to do with the degree in sociology and Japanese? I didn't know. So I moved back to Japan. And then I was in Japan for like a total of 7 years. 9/11 happened. I was like most Americans who were like adult age or even like older than junior high school, I was deeply affected by it. But the way it affected my crazy brain was I need like to do something about it. And most of my super lefty friends were just like content to sit back and like yell at the TV. And I was like, well, this is obviously all stupid and all awful. I thought, but if I joined as a medic, I could actually hands-on help some people. Maybe the people who America is doing bad things to, maybe the soldiers who are caught, maybe the combatants, maybe the civilians, but just that I could kind of even the score to kind of unfuck the whole situation, which is very naive, I know, but I mean, I don't know. What do you expect from someone who's going to call themselves Sergeant Vegan? So I left Japan, I joined the military, and that was in 2003. So I was in the military 2003 to 6. I got out in 2006 with the idea that I was going to start a vegan restaurant. I went to a vegan culinary school, culinary program in Massachusetts.
Can I interrupt real quick? I wanted to ask you, like, when you're in the military from, it sounded like till 2006, but those 3 or 4 years that you were there, what was it like being in the military and being vegan? There couldn't have been many, even in the early 2000s. And how did you get your food? Frankly?
So let me finish off that spiel by saying then after that, the restaurant didn't open because 2008 economic collapse. I went back in the military in 2010. I was in there 2010 to 13 in the reserves. So the reason why I mentioned that last part is it really depends on who you're with, by what branch, and also by what unit, and if you're training or your duty station, or obviously you're deployed in a active war zone. So you'd probably be surprised to hear that the hardest time it was for me to be vegan was basic training, boot camp. And the reason being, there was no extra access to food. I could only go to a dining facility, DFAC we would call it, or chow hall or cafeteria with very limited options that were vegan. And I have some fun horror stories about all of that. But then after basic training, then it got challenging I went from basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the infantry, to Fort Sam Houston, which was medic training since I was training with other medics, and at a very different base with a very different agenda. There were more vegan options, and I was able to go off post or off base to get food. And then I went to jump school back at Fort Sam Houston, and then I went through the first, I would say, 80% of the Ranger Indoc program till I got kicked out for them for being vegan, and they saw the vegan tattoo on my neck. Then after that, I was in like a holdover situation, and then from that, then I got stationed with the 173rd Airborne in Vicenza, Italy, and that was completely different. Then when I was with the 173rd in Afghanistan, that was completely different. And then finally, my reserve time was very different. So the easy answer would be, the easy but lazy answer would be, oh, it sucked, it was hard, blah, blah, blah. Which it did suck, and yes, it was often hard, but it really depended on what I was doing. Basic training, do we have time for a quick basic training story?
Go for it, man.
All right, so the basic, just to give you a difference of how it actually was. Basic training, and I think it's changed a little bit, but probably not significantly. It's not that like you would expect at the horror stories where some drill sergeant, this dude's wearing a big fucking Smokey the Bear hat, screaming at you like, hey, maggot, you got to eat meat or else you're not a real, air quotes, man, or some shit like that. Nope, none of that. You have a very limited time to go into said cafeteria to get your food, to sit down, to eat, and to leave. However, imagine the hot chow line. There's not a goddamn thing that's vegan. So don't even, after the first day, maybe two of wishful thinking, oh, maybe the pancakes are vegan. You ask some kid who's flopping stuff on there, they don't know. And then you look into it, of course, they're not vegan. So none of that is vegan. They do have a cereal line. So I'm like, oh, okay. So what can I eat this cereal? Well, I know, because I've been vegan so long, I think I'd been vegan 10 years at that point, maybe 11, that cornflakes are vegan. So I'm like, ooh, I could eat the cornflakes. It's all you can eat cornflakes. But how many times have you eaten cornflakes dry? They're basically like shards of corn glass, and it hurts your mouth. You're like, this shit sucks. So I was like, okay, now probably nowadays, but in any other like normal setting, they would have soy milk, or what was popular in the 90s, rice milk, or I don't know, hemp milk, or coconut milk, or some other version of that, right? None of that. It's whole milk or 2%. So of course I'm not putting that in the milk. So I'm eating that dry. Again, all you can eat, but I don't know how much you would want to eat of that. That sucks. So I started to get clever. I was like, okay, I need to basically turn this into mush so I could eat it like RoboCop eating that that smoothie Slurpee stuff that looked like baby food. So I would put fruit cocktail on it to moisten it enough to be able to eat, and just try to shove enough of it down my throat to where I wasn't hungry, because I was like, all right, I know I'm going to lose weight and this is going to be bad. And that's how basically I did breakfast. Lunch was Wonder Bread and peanut butter, but I couldn't always get that. Maybe some iceberg lettuce on it. Dinner might be white rice and also on the bread. And that was what was difficult about basic training. The training was hard, but I was in really good shape. So it was really just, how much of this starvation stuff can I endure before like I lose too much weight that it's like really not a good thing.
I can't imagine the discrimination, for lack of a better word, that you got. I mean, you're joining an organization, the military, that is maybe the most manly in the world. And I like, some of them had to be like, it had to be hard, the psychological part of it.
I got a lot of shit, but to be fair, joining the military is kind of like joining the gang. And you should not expect, like, even to be fair to the military is there to go fuck people up. It's definitely not a tree hugging organization, to be fair. I mean, that's like when I was with Ranger Battalion, briefly Ranger Training Battalion, to be training to become a Ranger. First day of in process, the sergeant major comes in, or it might have been I'm pretty sure it was sergeant major, but it could have been a first sergeant. Comes in, he gives this speech. He goes, "Men, Rangers are not soldiers. Rangers are fucking killers." That was wow. That was, and to be fair, that's what it was. And I think if the military conducts itself in a different way, I think they're not doing service to the fact that that's what the job is going to be. Now, I was very grumpy, as you can guess, to get kicked out of Ranger Training Battalion. I watched Black Hawk Down, and probably not the response you were supposed to have was, "That's the shit I want to do." And that's the shit that I did not get to do. I mean, as a medic, I got to do lots of stuff, but I wasn't a Ranger, and that I will be forever butthurt about that. Not getting to go to Ranger school and all that stuff. If you watch that stuff, if you pull up Ranger school and all that on YouTube, as a I would say youngster, but at that point I would have been 30. That's probably not the stuff like your brain should be wired to want to do. But I was that kind of person, even as a vegan. So like, that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to do. Now I don't think my body would hack Ranger school. I mean, I run like 3 times a week, but we were running 5 miles at under a 35-minute. That's I mean, it was pretty fast clip, really hard PT, but as you would expect for special operations. When you think about special operations, if you're thinking anything less than like that, I don't know. I mean, it should be called something else.
Well, I earlier said thank you for your service, but it also applies to you being an early adopter of veganism.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because that's, my hat's off to you, because I went vegan in 2012. The degree of difficulty was basically 0. You did it at a time and in an environment that is incredible. So you have some real resilience and dedication. You did mention that you're straight edge, which I appreciate. I imagine you're a big Henry Rollins fan.
Oh, yeah. Huge Rollins fan. I think I take a lot of my kind of like spiritual lifestyle, all that guidance from like early 80s punk bands, and then mid to late 80s bands like Youth of Today, and then Rollins and Ian Mackay with Minor Threat and Fugazi, and then later 90s Earth Crisis. These are all, I don't think any of that, except for Minor Threat very randomly, pushed me to go vegan, but it definitely helped me to endure some like rough ass times. I think minor threat in talking about not drinking alcohol or doing drugs and adopting that lifestyle as a teenager made, and then people's reaction to me as like a, an antsy 18-year-old of like, oh, of course, you dressing like a punk rock kid, you're doing drugs, and like, nah, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, and blowing people's minds. It kind of in a way made it easier to be vegan because people already thought that it was nuts that I was not going to be getting drunk or, that kind of stuff. It already kind of put me in a weird box. So it was like, nah, no big deal.
I can relate to that a little bit. That's the one thing that you've talked about so far that I can relate to, because I stopped drinking about 10 years ago.
Oh, good for you, man.
Thank you.
Not drinking or not smoking. Okay. If we're going to put, obviously as a healthcare provider and an RN, put the vegan, all of the propaganda and how I feel about animals aside. One of the greatest things you could do for your health, bar none, not to smoke, and pretty much anything. And then if we're going to go number 2, again, putting the vegan stuff and all my propaganda aside, and I feel very strong about all that. Like, you could say propaganda, or you could just say truth, but the number 2 and then number 3, not drinking alcohol. It's just, you're just basically gurgling poison. And then if we're doing that, like the 50s, like a 2 or 3 martini dinner kind of shit, you're just wrecking yourself. So my hat's off to you. I'm sure that's a pain in the neck sometimes when you're trying to explain, like, no thanks. And people act like you're, going through AA or some shit. And you're like, no, I just don't drink. My hat's off to you. That's one of the best things you could do for yourself.
You touched on, actually, John brought it up about the military and manly, and that's one of the things that fascinated me about you and learning more about you. You are the antithesis of what many perceive vegans to be like. I mean, you're a combat veteran. You are a martial. Which martial arts did you?
So I did Aikido for a while, which, to be fair, when I think of Aikido now, I think of Steven Seagal. Yeah. Which I think some Aikido techniques, the closer they are to jiu-jitsu, like joint locks, lots of good in there. But when I think of, not to get into too much of a tangent, but most Steven Seagal-y stuff or anything that's not more jiu-jitsu related, it seems like some fake ass shit. Like let's be fair. I also did Muay Thai. I did Muay Thai for a while while I was a youth. I went to Thailand to kickbox for a month, 2 separate times. Which, if you're looking for some old-fashioned punishment, that's a great way to spend a month. Just going to get beat up twice a day. Because I remember while I was at this gym in Bangkok this would have been the mid 90s. This British guy was like, he was looking suspiciously unbeat up, and I inquired about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, mate. I just told them not to punch me, and so far they've not been punching me." I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Because usually when you're doing the mitts, you're like punch, hit the mitts, and they hit you, and that was just part of. I guess that they just saw that as part of the experience. Like, of course they want to get punched. Like, but man, being punched in the face. I usually didn't get bothered too much in Bangkok because I had 2 black eyes and a fucked up nose. So people would just expect that I probably looked like I was on drugs or I had already been robbed. So,
Vanessa and I are going to Japan in a week. And I'm curious what your affinity to Asia is, because it sounds like you spent a ton of time there.
So I spent at this point like a 9th or an 8th of my life in Japan. I love it. I could obviously it'd be boring for our listeners, most of them, to hear my long hot takes on stuff in Japan. But I do have recommendations after the podcast. I could give you some ideas or answer any questions. What do I love about Japan? I mean, pretty much everything. I mean, I've lived
what
there
made
long.
what made you first start to go out to Japan and yeah.
The fun thing about what originally got me so interested in Japan was this simple, like, accidental thing that I had to take a language while I was in college, and I think I tried to get out of it, weasel out of it, by having taken Spanish, and I can murder some Spanish, but I can't really have a real conversation. Other than the Pulp Fiction "Donde está la zapateria," that's like embarrassingly all that stuck. But they were like, "Okay, we need you to take a language." And in my freshman year, I was like, "Well, what do you got?" And since they had Japanese, I was like, "Oh, well, as a kid, I liked ninja movies, so I'll take Japanese." And that led me into this rabbit hole that now, like, Jesus, like 34 years later, I'm still practicing the Japanese, and I'm covered in Japanese tattoos, and was in a Japanese hardcore band for years, and
Wow.
big part of my thing is that.
Are you an anime guy?
Yes, but only I'm like stuck in the 90s. So if it was around in the 90s, or like when I was really into it, like Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, I'm like all about it. But if it's something that came out last year, it probably didn't come across my desk.
Okay. I mean, I'm into comic books. Clearly, I never was really into anime or manga, though I tried. It's one of those things where I wanted to like it, and I can definitely appreciate the quality of the animation with anime, but I just couldn't get into the stories. I did watch something called hentai. You know what hentai is?
Yeah.
So I watched this one called Legend of the Overfiend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what is the thing with tentacles?
I almost said the tentacle fucking and stuff like that. Here's the
I wasn't
thing.
going to say tentacle fucking, but thank you for saying it for me.
Yeah. Japan is just really, really interesting and exciting. Not the tentacle fucking, but just them not having Christianity and repression as their baseline, but having Buddhism and Shintoism. So a lot of the things they're going to start. I think human beings are, like, at core all the same. I think every human being has the same capacity for greatness or shittiness and whatever. And then when you add religion, and then when you add political or social identity and stuff like that, then you kind of, change it or warp it or create it into whatever it is, and then it becomes the thing. And just that somebody in that, through all that socialization would be like, you know what? How about tentacles are weird? How about them do some fucking? That's just, I don't know. That's just some weird shit to me. I'm not interested in any of that. I don't know if that's superior to the shitty things in our culture or shittier than it. I mean, I don't know. It's not my thing. I like I said, like Samurai Champloo, I would definitely recommend, if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is like...
Is Cowboy Bebop the one with the little character named Ein?
The corgi?
Yes, Ein.
So the original, I think there was a season of it. Those episodes are so amazingly done. I think originally when it was made, not to give too much, is everybody sort of aware of Cowboy Bebop?
Well, they brought it back on Netflix. I watched a few episodes and I actually couldn't get into it. But I'm going to try it again.
The Netflix, are you referring to the live action?
I think it was an animation.
So there
Yeah.
is a live action that because
Yeah,
it's
with
been
John Cho.
yeah, it's been so amazing, and people throughout, I don't know, the whole world were into it. So they were like, you know what? Let's capitalize on that by having a live action. Which I watched like an episode and I thought this sucks. But I mean, it's like anything. I'm also like most people of my generation, a Star Wars fan. I thought the original
Hey, you
four.
see my shirt?
I can barely make it out. Are those stormtroopers?
It's Darth Vader and the stormtroopers walking on Abbey Road.
Yeah. I used my vegan as fuck mug, but I almost used my Star Wars mug.
Oh, awesome.
I think so. Most of us are big Star Wars fans. However, when they went after decades that they had to do the first three, so not the first three that they made, but the chronological 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I thought that was fucking poop and pee, like the worst garbage ever. And
Yeah.
is it as bad as other things? I don't know, but my feeling was that it just sucked, and I kind of feel the same.
I think there episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, there are some moments that are good. The movie as a whole isn't good, but like that climactic lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Now the whole thing of I have the high ground, you can't win. That's lame. But I think there are moments that make it better than Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace.
I mean,
that's a really low bar.
I'm not going to disagree that that's the least shitty of those 3 shitty movies.
Yes.
But here's the problem with it is you had unlimited time, literally unlimited resources, and it had the feeling of like, and I've said this a couple times, that they had, what was it, 25 years or longer to make something, and then they were like, okay, we have this budget and we have to start filming tomorrow. You, intern, I need a script on my desk by tomorrow at noon or you're fired. And they're just like writing random shit. Okay, Darth Vader is a little blonde boy and he's also a brat and he has like the Force, but he's like really annoying and you hate him, but he's like Darth Vader. And then like, okay, we'll improve on that by him being like a teenager who has some angst. It's just all like, ugh. Like this is the best you could do, dude, with unlimited money. So
yeah.
Sorry to bore our non-straight edge, Star Wars, the other S word, Star Wars fans. But point being, Cowboy Bebop, watch the original anime. It's amazing. But the live action redo, I did not care for it. But I could see if that's the first thing you watched, it probably wasn't awful. What do I know?
Getting back to the vegan topic, so you're in the Bay Area, right?
No, I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, you're in Los Angeles. Okay. Well,
where are you guys located? I didn't.
I'm in South Florida. We're all of us are in South Florida, actually.
I have heard good things about Orlando. True or false?
Well, I guess it. Well,
in what way? Being vegan, it's all false. The entire state is not a good place. I mean,
Florida.
You're Miami, in the epicenter, in my opinion.
Yeah, Miami has some bright spots, but I would say that Florida as a whole has a long way to go. It's definitely not Portland, Oregon. Orlando, I will say, I just came back from a comic book convention there called MegaCon. So that's really awesome. But unless you are really into theme parks or conventions, Orlando, I lived in Orlando for 2 years. I went to film school there and I actually really enjoyed it. But I don't know, it's Florida. I'm really anti-Florida right now, even though I live here.
Not to give too much away, or particularly put a timestamp on this, but I think, as a center left, I think Florida sucks all the balls, and I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Talk about a whole state of people not voting in their own interest. But putting that aside, I lived in Gainesville for a year, And I thought Gainesville was fairly vegan friendly. I mean, I would not have suspected that it would have been as good as it would have been. And
Well, I think
college
because
town,
the
though.
college is there, because University of
Yeah.
Florida, you got,
Yeah.
you know. A little off topic. Did you ever go to and see Michael Singer up there? He's the guy that wrote the Untethered Soul. He had the right outside of Gainesville. He has like a meditation type center.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
No, the main things I did there, there was a Krishna center, and somebody that I was friends with from the punk rock scene was really getting into Krishna. And I'm not into religion and really not into spirituality either. But there are a couple of bands that I really dig, Shelter and 108, for anybody's into all the punk rocks, are Krishna bands. So and because Krishna also pushes vegetarian, sometimes vegan-ish, but not always. If there's something going on that's Krishna related, I might wind up at it. So I wound up at a couple of their events. I probably did a couple of their all you can eats for, it was usually a reasonable amount. I went to a bunch of punk rock shows there. I volunteered at the Fest, which shout out to the Fest. They're like one of the best, if you enjoy punk rock, one of the best fests in the country, and that's in Gainesville, Florida. I really like Gainesville. It's not a place though I was 40 at the time, not a place for a 40-year-old though. I mean, everybody, if you're trying to date, everybody's a literal kid because of, like you said, the college, or they're in their 60s and trying to retire. Not for somebody who's like a 40-year-old. So I'm not at all sad to be living in Southern California, but some of Florida wasn't too bad, and I just wish it kind of would turn around politically, but that's on y'all, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's hope. I don't know. The polls are looking up. Maybe not on the state level, but in the national level.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Vanessa, I feel bad because John and I have kind of been monopolizing Bill's time.
That's
Do you have any?
okay.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
No, I'm okay. I'm fine here. I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't have much questions today. I'm just listening to the conversation, holding Bob because Bob is kind of like a full dad.
We have our
here.
cat in her lap.
Yeah.
You pick him
Well,
up.
the only thing when he talked about Japan, I was like, Japan.
Do you? So let's add in. Give me a couple quick questions about Japan. I don't want to take up too much time of the podcast to do it, and you could always cut it out. But like, I'm sure you guys already have Happy Cow, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You do.
John swears by it.
Yeah.
Have you guys already looked up some places that you want to go?
Yes, I already look, but more in Tokyo. So because the way we travel is more like I don't have everything set up, you know, like I just go with the flow. I just know the cities I have to be and some specific place I want to visit. The rest, I just, depending where we are, we open the HepCow and see if it has something.
How long are you going to be in Japan?
It's 12 days. I think it's 12 days.
I think 11 or 12 days. We're going Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Nagano,
Matsumoto.
Hakone?
Yeah.
It looks, on Happy Cow, which Joey said, I swear by it. There's restaurants everywhere. So
how long are you going to be in Osaka and Kyoto?
Kyoto, I think, is 4 days. In Osaka, 2 days.
Yeah, half our trip is going to be there.
Are you doing a rail pass or no?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that you do 1 day in Nara.
Yeah, we will do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the entire day. It's just like we have to leave Nara from like by 2 or 3.
Todaiji is very worth spending some time at and walking around there. Kyoto, did you already get your hotel?
We did, yeah.
Did you get it in Kyoto?
Two nights. Our last 2 nights were
No. It's 4 nights, 3 days, 3 full days and 4 nights.
We got all the hotels, but I can cancel, I think, still if you
kind of if you already have the rail pass, kind of a hack you can stay in Nara and just zip over to Kyoto, and it's. I was staying in a very nice hotel in Nara for, I think it was like $40 a night, something like that. Whereas if I was doing it in Kyoto, it would have been like gigabucks. Well, not gigabucks, $200 a night or more. And since I already had the rail pass, I just got out of my hotel, walked 50 feet to the train station, and got on the train and went over to Kyoto because I think I spent my year as a student in Osaka, so I spent most of my weekends in Kyoto or Nara or mixing it up in some club or whatever in Osaka. But that whole area is super amazing. The other thing that I would definitely say, if it's not already on your radar, there's an all-you-can-eat vegetarian curry place called Nataraji. If you look on my Instagram account, I know I probably put something recently up about it as well. It's like ridiculously cheap. It's like about $10 all you can eat for this lunch buffet. They have vegan naan. The curry is amazing. That's really, really good. Also, I think Moss Burger has a vegan burger. I think you might have to ask for not put one sauce on. And Coco Ichibanya has a vegan curry, which in the States they don't have a vegan curry, which is very annoying. But their curry in Japan is, the vegetarian one is actually vegan.
Okay.
When was the last time you were in Japan?
September.
Okay,
Wow.
so recently. Do you find Japan to be more vegan than the States or around?
Oh, for sure not. For sure not. But is it more vegan friendly than when I was there? For sure, yes. Like when I was in when I was in Japan the first time around, I think I froze soy milk with Hershey's syrup in it to make ice cream. Like it was like that kind of shit. Now you can get, so the annoying thing about Japan is it's not necessarily the perceived veganism of it. It's the fact that they'll have something you'll see while you're in Kyoto when you're going up to Kiyomizu-dera, which obviously you're going to go to. There's this big hill, and along the way there's all these shops and other bullshit. And then they have soft serve ice cream, and one of them says tofu milk ice cream. So the tofu milk ice cream, it does have tofu in it, but of course it also has, drum roll in your brain, milk in it. So it does, so there's an infinite amount of what the fuck with Japan. But spoiler alert, it's the same as the States and same anywhere else. Yeah. But just the fact that most people don't know enough Japanese to be able to be like, hey, I have an allergy. Is this vegan? And they're like, oh, no, it's not. It's just, it says tofu milk. And they're like, well, it is tofu milk and it's also milk.
Yeah.
Or like there'll be places that have in Kyoto, the tofu donuts, they do have tofu in it, but they also have milk in it and they also have eggs in it. That's the kind of stuff that will probably really annoy some people. You just, it sucks and you just roll with it.
This is why we rely on Happy Cow. Exactly that. Because I can look at the place right there.
Yeah.
Happy Cow is a great resource. I definitely recommend using them to the fullest extent of the law.
We've had multiple episodes just about Happy Cow. That's how much we love it.
Happy Cow is an amazing resource. Eric, the founder, is an amazing person he also lives in Southern California. He travels around the world, and occasionally, I bumped into him at a restaurant in Osaka a couple years ago. If you were at an event at pretty much where in the world, you might run into Eric. It's just pretty fun and pretty cool that's a thing.
Yeah. Hey everyone, we're going to end this here. This is the end of part 1. We're going to split this into 2 episodes. Part 2 will be next week, and we will continue our conversation with Sergeant Vegan, Bill Muir. So for Vegans Talking Shit, I'm Joey.
I'm John.
I'm Vanessa.
And we'll be back next week with
before we leave, remember, like our stuff, ring
the bell, put a like for us, comment, give a review to us. We need reviews on the podcast. Please send a review. We are going to be so happy.
We're on every social media platform because Vanessa puts stuff out every single day. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all over the place.
I'm doing my best.
Facebook.
Yes. So that's it. We can say bye now, right?
Yes.
Bye everyone.
Bye.